It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Episode 20 of Two Guys and a Goalie. It is, it's the boys. It's Dustin Nielsen. It's Joaquin Gage. It is Matt Cassian. We have Hernan Salas with us once again. And we are presented to you by Oddshark. Check them out at oddshark.com for all of your betting information needs. Also presented to you by Popeyes, legendary Louisiana chicken, and of course, Sport Clip haircuts. We'll play Keep It or Clip It a little bit later on. First of all, I must say, happy Thanksgiving to your wife, Cass.
Yeah, happy American Thanksgiving, Mandy. Happy American Thanksgiving.
Do you guys celebrate today? You don't even know?
We will a little bit. Like we have the family text.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been going on. Everyone being thankful.
Everyone's saying like, yeah.
Yeah, people trying to see each other.
But are you eating a turkey dinner tonight?
I probably will make something with turkey, but not like a turkey dinner.
So not
I'll
full
do
blown.
like turkey burgers or like something like that, but not actually like a full-blown
My
turkey.
wife and kids eat turkey burgers, but I don't touch them.
You can make them good, man. You just got to know how.
Really?
So you want a quick recipe?
I'll take a quick turkey burger recipe. Why not?
All right. So you throw your turkey in there.
Okay.
Okay. You throw
Where do you put the turkey?
In a bowl.
Okay.
And then you throw like a tablespoon of, like, if you get like a pack of ground turkey.
Yeah.
Tablespoon of sriracha.
Okay.
You know what sriracha is?
No idea.
It's like rooster sauce. It's like the red kind of spicy.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you get go to the store, find
No
sriracha.
idea.
Why did you?
No idea.
Why didn't you say?
Well, some people may not know, but it's pretty popular. So you take a tablespoon of that, a tablespoon of fish sauce.
What?
Tablespoon of fish sauce.
I have none of these in my house.
A little bit of green onions. Throw the green onions in there, and then a tiny little bit of cornstarch.
Thicken it up.
Well, it helps keep the juices in, so it doesn't dry out. And then this is you want to know the big secret here is you grind up some crackers.
So it's like a meatloaf.
Saltine crackers, like not that many, just a little bit. It's not like a meatloaf. You form them in the patties, but it helps keep the patties together. And then when you make your patties, you got to put it back in the fridge. Make your patties, put it back in the fridge, and let them sit in there for 20 minutes and get cold again. Because when you cook burgers, they're supposed to be cold. Like most meat, steaks, you want like to warm up to room temperature. Burgers, turkey burgers, you want them to be cold when you cook them.
My wife, I hope she doesn't listen to this episode, because right now when I do turkey burgers, I buy them in the frozen section and I barbecue them and I put some barbecue sauce on them, and that's
Not
it.
the way to do it.
And just like frozen.
Oh yeah,
Completely
frozen.
out,
Like I put them on frozen.
Oh, they're cold. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Dusty
yeah.
puts them
Yeah.
on frozen.
They're rock hard frozen.
If you want to get really crazy, you know what you do while they're sitting. So you put them back in the fridge, then you quick pickles.
Marinate them.
No,
Oh.
no. You don't marinate thawed patties, Dusty.
I don't know anything about making stuff from scratch, man.
And then you use a little rice wine vinegar and a little water, some sugar, and a little bit of salt, and you quick pickle some onions and some like sliced up cucumbers, and then that's what you put on top.
Check out Gordon Ramsay. Over
And
there.
if you want to go really crazy, then you use the sriracha, you mix it with some mayo and a little bit of soy sauce, and then you have a sriracha aioli.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've done that.
You know what would have been the best way to show this to us? By bringing us something today for American Thanksgiving.
Good point.
We had
Justin.
pre and post game show for the Oilers getting absolutely spanked yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a late one because it was a late start here in Edmonton, and it was a busy day today from a work standpoint, a lot to get done. So,
Well, let's be honest. You could have made something during the third period last night.
Yeah, probably could have, but I didn't have it. Like I would have had to go to the grocery store prior to.
Yeah, that's tough.
But then I was just like, those guys can wait.
I was really looking forward to it. I didn't pack a lunch today to work. I'm starving right now.
Oh,
I did. I woke up this morning. I go, ooh, I wonder what he's going to bring.
Hernan, do you know if we have any of those extra chicken wings still laying around from Popeyes on Monday?
No, some of the boys from Oilers Nation,
Okay.
I shared some, and then I took a whole box home.
What?
Yeah.
You know what?
Good for you.
My son, little prick, I brought a box of those home, and I put them on the kitchen counter, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back when he came home from, and he crushed the whole box.
How long were you in the bathroom for?
Well, you know why.
I guess we
Yeah.
did have triple ghost pepper wings.
That's what I thought when I first had to go in there. I was like, okay, here it goes. And I was like, oh, not too bad. That's all right. But the next, like, I had to go again at about 11:30, and I never have to do a 2 that late. And it was lava. It was lava.
Once again, we warn you not to listen to the podcast while you're eating.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Because of that story right there. We've got lots to get to. We're going to have Scott Hastings on again from Odd Shark. It's going to join us a little bit later on. We'll get to Shawn Matthias in like 3-4 minutes. He's going to join us. Much like you guys, former player who's going to start doing some podcasting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Gage, let's start with you. What one piece of advice would you give a former hockey player starting a podcast?
Confirm with your wife where the lines are drawn. I would the first thing that comes to mind. Other than that, it's gravy.
Cass, what about you?
I was gonna say, don't do it with a bunch of idiots.
Oh, good thing you didn't.
Too late.
Yeah. All right, because one of the things we'll obviously have to talk about with Matthias is a huge story that's been going on this week. Bill Peters is under a ton of fire. Akeem Alou comes out, accuses him of using the N-word in his presence in the dressing room, talking about his music. And then that turns into former Carolina Hurricane Michael Jourdain coming out and saying, well, Peters was kicked me on the bench, hit another player in the head on the bench. Calgary Flames are going through an investigation right now. Peters put out a statement on Wednesday night. Cass, your thoughts on everything that's happened, I guess, since the last time we chatted?
Oh, there's a lot.
Yes,
There's a lot
to
that
unpack.
happened. First off, I think you said it. Most of us have said it. The racism stuff's just not okay.
It's unacceptable
It's
at
just
any moment.
unacceptable. It's never should be. I'm glad to hear that there were players that immediately went to confront him about it, as there should have been. You stand up for your teammates, and that's an area you stand up for your teammates in. So I'm thankful that those guys did. I'm not thankful that more action wasn't taken at that time to deal with it. As to everything else, there's more that needs to be looked into and more that needs to be proven. What I'm interested in is to see where all of this goes. You know, we laugh and joke about players in the modern game being soft, and in a lot of ways it's true. However, I think we're going to see people kind of open up and examine a little bit on some of that old school coach mentality, and I'm just interested and curious to see exactly A, what comes out, because there's going to be a lot of stories, and B, how people react to what comes out, because we're going to open up a can of worms here, and is it bad that we're opening it? I don't think necessarily so. If it forces coaches to sit and think about the way that they're treating people, then that's good. On the flip side, if people just didn't like a coach because they didn't play him and they just start throwing around stuff unnecessarily, it really defeats the purpose of actually, what could be a cleansing of some garbage stuff that goes on. So it's interesting to me.
Gager, you weren't played by many coaches.
Yeah, it's all because of my color of my skin. I'd still be playing right now.
Did you deal with any of that when you were playing or growing up? Or
Other players would yell stuff at me.
okay, like the
but-
opposition.
Yeah.
See, but even that's
it's-
bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's real
stupid.
bad.
Like-
I should throw some guys under the bus for doing it, but I don't know.
Like say something about how bad a player you are. Like,
Yeah,
There's a lot
it
of
was-
other ways to
there's so
chirp.
many ways you can chirp and get like that. Just to me is like,
Yeah, no, I've run into guys that said it to me later on, and I'm just like, I just don't have any time for them
I was gonna
whatsoever.
say.
They'll say hi, and I'm like, yeah, and I just don't talk to them or whatever. But it's the bottom of the barrel trying to
100%.
to say something so poorly to get you off your game, and there's no excuse for saying it. I'm glad that it's kind of coming out and stuff. I'm fortunate enough, I've never had a coach that I felt like that was an issue
That
with him.
disrespected you in that
just
way.
because of the way I looked or whatever. So
Yeah.
it was all according to my play. So, no, I'm glad it's coming out. I hope more is revealed, and just putting people in that kind of position of power where they're taking advantage of other people. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Well, I'm with Cass on the let's see what happens from here, right? Like, does Bill Peters get canned and everything kind of just goes on as normal? Or
he has to go.
no,
he
there's
has
going
to
to be,
go.
it opens. It's already
You think
open
it-
to further conversation.
Yeah,
Like he's going, and it'll be just as much from the performance of the team as it is from what he said 10 years ago. And I'm also very open to the fact that people change over time.
Yep.
And 10 or 15 years can do a lot to people and their viewpoints. Certainly, I don't have the same viewpoints I did 10 to 15 years ago, but that doesn't mean you don't answer for actions. I mean, it's like if I murder someone 10 to 15 years ago and I've cleaned up my life at this point, it doesn't mean I'm not going to suffer the consequences of murdering someone 10 to 15 years ago. And it's the same thing with this, where there can be consequences for what you did. So yeah, it's just really interesting.
I don't like in his letter, like he apologized, which is good, but I don't like the fact that it was rectified right away. But it seems like to me, it was more of a move by the leadership of the team that did something about it and went to him and made him realize that it's not cool. He didn't, I wasn't there. I'm just reading stuff online, but I lost a lot of respect for him when I heard that it took the players on the team to go to him and fix everything rather than him realizing what just happened.
It's just like the old, like, I'm sorry you feel that way apology.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You tell me, like,
almost, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah,
that's
like,
a good point.
if I hurt your feelings, or if I, said, Dusty, your glasses are ugly, and you were just like, well, man, that really hurts my feelings. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Why would you take a shot at people who wear glasses, Cass?
I'm sorry you feel that
and
way.
These are the nicest glasses I've owned in my entire life.
Well, Dusty, I'm sorry you feel that way.
See, and that doesn't help me at all. That doesn't help me at all. We'll come back around to this conversation, obviously, as we work our way through. It's a huge topic right now in the world of the National Hockey and world of hockey in general, to be honest with you. It's Two Guys in the Goalie podcast, Dustin Nielsen, Joaquin Gage, and Matt Cassian. It's presented to you by Oddshark. Check them out at oddshark.com. Our first guest, we're going to have two guests on the same podcast.
Wow.
What is this? This seems legit almost for a second, which is nice to see. We've got former National Hockey Leaguer, played with the Winnipeg Jets last year at 3 stops in Canadian clubs, and he's going to be diving into podcasting as well, apparently, unless we can talk him out of it in the next 10 minutes or so. Shawn Matthias joins us on Two Guys and a Goalie today. Shawn, appreciate the time. How are you, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. What are you thinking getting into podcasting here in the new year? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I just like Joe Rogan, so I was like, why can't I start a podcast?
Why did you tell us a little bit more about it? I'm intrigued by your logo, because the title of the podcast, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a fourth period. And you use the I in the period to be a period behind the fourth. And I was like, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, some crazy artwork, eh? I got one guy that's out there. It's actually like spaceman, so he's like in a space suit. We bounced around with a bunch of names. I just couldn't really figure anything out, so that one was always kicking around, and I just didn't want it to be the name, to be honest. I was like, this is such a boring name. It just seems so like easy, but easy's good sometimes. And then the spaceman kind of came out of I sent some drawings that I gave. I always liked doing some art when I was playing and stuff, so then I just came up with a spaceman when I was on vacation with my wife in Italy. I was like, I should put my guy in space, because since retiring from the game, I kind of feel like I'm in space all the time. Like, I don't, it's just a different lifestyle. I might as well be in like a desert or something, because you go around from being like with your whole team and stuff and being around people a lot all the time. And then you're kind of just done. You're done playing. It's like, all right, I got to figure this out on my own. So I was just kind of represents what the whole first year of being out of the game, and that's just kind of diving into myself and just learning more about myself. And because I think you see with everything going on in the hockey world, especially right now, it's just like a lot of negativity and stuff. And last year there were some things said, and I just like quickly like started jumping on Twitter, and I was like, whoa, you're getting emotional, Shawn. You can't be emotional. You got to be strategic and thought out, and know your shit about yourself before you start like whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna think about that. So I just started like kind of growing as a human into my next chapter of my life, and I think the podcast represents the next chapter of my life. And I just want it to be a very positive platform and make it really a good space for everyone to listen to.
Boy, you picked the wrong one to go on then. Positive.
I'm positive. Me too.
Yeah, Cass is really positive.
Yeah.
Cass is super positive.
1 for 2,
man,
not
teach
bad.
his own, man.
Yeah, that's right. We all approach things in a different way. Did you, I mean, podcasting, has obviously come a long way in the last 5 to 10 years. You mentioned, Joe Rogan's been doing it. He's an absolute star when it comes to this stuff. But did you think like podcasting or the media or anything would be kind of down your path when you were playing? Was it something you were always thinking about?
I was thinking about doing a podcast my last year in Winnipeg, and the team wasn't really too comfortable with me doing it. So I was like, all right. And that's kind of weird. Like, I should have done it then, right? Like, looking back, I'm like, kind of weird that I wouldn't think that way, that I wasn't allowed to do something like that. But to be honest, I'm like, kind of funny. Like, you put that energy out there to the world, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. And like, to me, I'm just like, maybe my parents, maybe a couple friends, and my wife and her sister will listen to it. And like, great, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden, it's like more like, I start to see like how many people are like interested, and like the pressure kind of builds. So it's kind of good. I waited a year after playing, because I think I definitely would have already been like, nope, not doing this. And then so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking. I think it'll do all right.
We're courteous. We're positive. You can go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, like, what's been the most difficult thing for you in this like year away from the game? Like, has it been more difficult than you thought it would be?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I mean. Like, just like confidence, like to like do things and stuff, because it's just like you're used to like Matt, like Cass. You know how it is. Like when you're playing, you need people to like book you tickets for anything. Like they do everything for you. So it's just like you're learning to walk again almost.
Yeah, there's a lot of hand holding. One of the biggest challenges for me, Maddie, has been just like the schedule organization. Like just of my day-to-day like life, because you're so used to having someone tell you where to go.
Like it was get up here, go to practice.
Right. And now it's like, well, I got to plan out my own days and figure this stuff out. So it's been a learning experience.
Yeah, I always thought like going to the bank after practice and then go, oh, I got to take a nap. This is stressful. That was the extent of my day.
Yeah.
So to stick
like,
with the,
I got up like after I realized I retired, the first thing I did was join a golf club, because I was like, I need to do something. If I don't do anything, I'm going to go nuts. So I just like, and I started to love it because it felt like I was shooting pucks again. Like I got the same joy out of like the same thing I did when I was a kid, shooting at targets, and like just kind of like no pressure, just playing a sport and being back in my own head and being like, Shawn, you're a fucking man today. You know what I mean? Like it's a really good shot. And you're just like, yes, thank you. And then it's like, but it's great. And then you go home, and I'm enjoying that. And then, but then I got like kind of fat from it all, because I was just like at the course, just enjoying myself, not training, and probably having that extra beer I didn't need at times. But through that,
that doesn't go away. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. But then I was like, but fitness is like a big part of our life too. Like I was working out since I was like 10 years old. Like we all were, right? We're all working our craft at an early age, but working and grinding at something. So to take out fitness and stuff, I put that back in, and I started getting back into that. I found I was like in a better space, and it's all about balancing your life out after, I guess, right?
You did that quick. I mean, it took me, my wife was on me from day one to start working out when I finished, and it took me 2 years. Actually, probably longer, because I just like, nope, just gonna enjoy myself. But I'm on the workout train with you, Shawn, now, so we're good. We're good. So, are you back out east in the Markham area?
Where I live?
Yeah, is that where you?
In Toronto area.
Okay,
I'm in the east end of Toronto.
So what's been your whole perspective just on the Leafs this year too, and we'll keep it positive, so we're not going to focus just on the Babcock situation recently, but just on the Leafs in general, and maybe what's been going on with the team.
We're keeping it positive now. Right on.
No, hey, listen, man, don't let Cass speak for us.
Yeah.
We don't have to stay positive. That's okay. You do whatever you want.
You let loose.
Do whatever you want. I'm all about being my own man right now. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, you're branching out here. You're branching out.
Yeah, that's what it all is. You know what I think about all this, like control stuff and things? I think it's just a different era. Like there's these young guys. Like I started hearing about like it from like my old GTHL coaches in AAA. It's like it's different now. So like I was hearing it was, and that's like YouTube and like phones and social media, like all these things. Like of course things are different now, and what's coming to light. Like a lot of guys had some heavy things on them for a while, and some guys choose to talk about it, and that's fine. That's their own growth path, and if they feel ready to talk about things, we should remember to not like hate on the player, because I went and looked at Akeem's photo, and it's pretty upsetting to see what people are writing to him. Like, he was a guy that stepped up early when he was 16 about hazing, and then he's doing something again that all turned out to be true. Don't hate on Keefe because he spoke out. Like, I think the message should always be to urge the fans, like, he's allowed to take his time to process things. Like, he was in a very intense time in his life trying to make the NHL, and people did have power and stuff like that, and he was trying to navigate the waters as a young man. So it's upsetting to see like what people write on his photos, and I think if the one thing I could talk about that is to like give the kid a break, because like he's brave. He really is.
Yeah, the one thing we have to remember is that Twitter is a cesspool full of assholes. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I love Twitter. I love it, but I absolutely hate it as well. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. And you know, you played in the league for a good stretch. When you look at it, like, and I'm sure things have changed. Cass and Gage, you guys were both talking about how things have changed as, you know, players change and the way things are coached change. Did you see a lot of change from the way coaches treated players during your time in the league, from when you started in Florida to when you finished in Winnipeg?
100% I did. Yeah, absolutely. It was, and like, even from like coaches I had, I always really enjoyed the coaches that played, because I felt like it was different with how, I don't know if you guys can attest to that or played for coaches that also played, like I played for Patrick Wall and Kevin Dineen, two longtime NHL players and very good NHL players. And I always found with like the way they were, just the way they communicated and spoke to me was different. And I appreciated the way they handled things at times. Like it was just different. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think you always have a lot of respect for someone that's done it before, and especially with the two guys that you just named. When they say something, everyone's going to listen, just because the amount of experience and what they've accomplished as a player. So yeah, that I definitely feel the same way you do with having guys that have played before. It was a lot better relationship with the coach.
Kevin Constantine played goalie in NCAA, so if that counts.
Man, you're on Constantine again? You won't let we need like an hour with you and Constantine in a room and a couple of mics.
I listened. As far as him being a human, totally fine.
Yeah, but as a coach,
he was never abusive to me. He was never anything like that.
Yeah.
I just don't like him as a coach. I just.
Who was that?
Kevin Constantine. I'm sure you've heard a couple of the stories. That would have been.
But I don't even know who that is.
Oh Jesus!
You know what, Maddie? It's a good thing you don't. It's a good thing you actually. You know what? He probably would have, like, from a playing standpoint, you would have fit into one of his like molds. Like you would have been okay. You would have been okay with him. Yeah.
I would have been one of his boys.
You would have been one of his boys. Yeah, I was not.
Yeah, you want to be a part of that group, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Canadian? You played in 3 Canadian cities. Which one was your favorite one to play in?
Ooh, I'm not going to say one, but I'll say something good about all of them. I mean, they were all
come
great.
on. It was Vancouver, right?
Gager's a West Coast guy, so.
Okay, I'll just tell you the way it is. So Vancouver was awesome. It was unbelievable, just because my brother was 5 minutes down the road. We made the playoffs that year. I had a really good season. I really enjoyed living there. I always wanted to go live in Vancouver in my life, and like I didn't think I ever would. So that was pretty cool, and it was a good vibe out there. I enjoyed it. So just for all around, that year was, in my personal career, that was awesome.
See,
is that good?
Great spot. Where'd you live? Did you
lived in Yaletown?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. I grew up in Kits, man, so I feel you.
Okay.
I feel you.
Just a kid's
kid. You know how it goes.
I know how to roll down in Yaletown.
Gager drops a Kitsilano reference like every second podcast. So we've gotten used to it.
I got to represent.
No, it's good. It's good. What was it like being like an Ontario guy though, playing for the Leafs when you were there?
What I gotta say with Vancouver though, before I go to that, is I still get recognized from Vancouver fans. Like, I don't get recognized anywhere. But every time I go to Vancouver, or like I was in Cabo this last week at my brother's wedding, and I had people come up to me. I'm like, how do you know who I am? Like, you should not know who I am. Like this, like, and there's always Vancouver fans. Like, I loved you on the Canucks. I was like, that's crazy. Like nowhere else in my career I ever got recognized or dealt with anything like that. But always with Vancouver fans. If I get recognized, Canuck fan for sure.
Well,
That was your
I
best.
would've
Was that
thought it
your
would've
best
been-
season though? Wasn't that
I
your
would've
best
thought it was
season?
Florida.
Yeah, but you would think like Toronto.
Yeah,
Toronto
you're right,
did,
Toronto,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I live in Toronto. I've played for them. Like, but even when I was playing for the Leafs, I guess I got to explain. It's just in my head. My wife tells me I do this, but you know, you got. Yeah, like in Toronto, I didn't get recognized one time. Like guys I played for, like played with, we were all talking about like how we thought it would be a little bit crazier walking around the city and stuff. I mean, if you're Austin Matthews and you're all those like top end guys for sure, but in Vancouver, it was like every single guy, like it was crazy just how much support and how much people recognize you. I mean, you don't have the Raptors and Blue Jays, so maybe that's a big thing too, but it's just, I don't know, Vancouver was cool for that.
How sweet was it in your early 20s to be playing hockey in Florida? Like that you must have been living the life, man.
There was no pressure, none. It was like, you're just last place every year. It's like, okay, here we go. But
a lot of time for fun though.
yeah, I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, Miami, you guys!" Like, we went to Miami just at the end of your party, but it was not as crazy as like playing in Canada and stuff. But it was nice because you go to the beach on your days off. Like, I lived on a golf course for 2 years. I lived by the beach for a couple of years. I was just like, this is crazy. And if I had the worst game of my life, max like 2 or 3 people would be like, "You're shit, Matthias." I was like, I can deal with that. Like, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then it was like, if you had a really good game, maybe you had the same 2 or 3 people saying "good game, man," and you're like first name basis with those people.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like the fans that are just giving it to you, but they love you too. So it was great. But it was okay. Like, I enjoyed it. I mean, it'd be different playing in like Toronto as a young man because there'd be like, you put more pressure on yourself too as a young person, I find. So I think if I was a 20-year-old in Toronto, I don't know. It would have been interesting how I would have reacted to that. I think for my mindset, Florida was really good for me.
I do have to, like, so you were with the Jets last year, and then you mentioned you've been away here for a bit now. Did you think about going and playing overseas?
Yeah, I did. I was talking to a team in Switzerland, and the honest story is I was going to play again. I was planning on playing again, but I said, here's my price. Here's the league I'll play in.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to budge from that.
Oh, good for you, man.
And then I went to, well, I don't know. It didn't work. So, but I was talking to a team in Switzerland, that Geneva team, and the coach there was the GM too, or owner or something. And I thought I was going to, looked like it was happening. He talked to me a bunch of times. And then I talked to him in the morning. And then later that day, I saw he signed two guys from the NHL went down there last year. I can't remember their names, but 2 guys went there. I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's not happening. It was already like pretty late in the signing. So I just went right to the golf course and had a time. So it wasn't too bad.
And now you're going to podcast, which will be great.
Now I'm going to podcast with my parents and my wife and her sister listening. It's going to be great.
And us. I'll subscribe, buddy.
I was gonna say that's all that listens to ours too. So,
What we have found works really well, Matty, is we all write reviews on our own podcast.
yeah.
So
Or at least the first 5.
Yeah, we'll help you out. We'll help you out. Yeah,
Guys
as
just
best we
turning
can.
on one another, eh?
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. Well, we really appreciate the time. Thanks a lot, and good luck with everything. We'll have to chat with you again.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There you go. That's Shawn Matthias, Fourth Period podcast, and that was a good chat.
Yeah, coming out in the new year.
Yeah.
I don't think he hasn't started it yet.
Yeah.
He's getting his stuff ready, and then it'll come out in a couple months, and it'll be a good listen.
It's a good thing he didn't go to Switzerland, actually. That's
Why?
Well, he mentioned pressure. It's a different pressure in Switzerland because I believe
How
there's
many
only
countries did you
eat
play in
too
over
much
there?
chocolate? Like you have to
For-
eat 8 chocolate bars a day?
4. No, because you're only allowed 3 imports.
Oh, that type of pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got to perform.
See, but I had my European passport, so
Yeah, you would have been great.
Yeah.
was a
But
bad
I've heard some rough stories of imports in Switzerland, like because if you're an import, usually you're an NHL guy, and if you don't have like 4 points a game, the papers and the fans,
They love their hockey.
yeah, and they're all over you and stuff. So, but well, a great place, Geneva. Oh, that would have been tough. I would almost pay them to play there.
Well, I was wondering. I was wondering yesterday when Cass is like, "Yeah, Shawn Matthias is going to join us." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I'm going to Spangler again on the 22nd to do play-by-play again, and it's just an amazing country and a great city. And I thought he'd be a perfect Spangler guy.
Oh yeah,
Right? If he was still in shape, that dude's got Spangler. I think Scotty Upshaw's going to play in the Spangler this year. Like that'd be pretty good. That'd be a good time. Scott Hastings is going to join us in like 5 minutes. We got a couple other things that we can definitely get to. I just want to circle back around here to Peters because we didn't finish what I really wanted to get to because we talked about obviously the racism and how it's unacceptable. Did you guys ever? I mean, how much have things changed since you guys played? Where I was talking about it on my radio show here in Edmonton that when I was in junior high school, one of my coaches one time pinned one of the guys up against the wall, choked him because he was talking back. He was talking shit to the coach. And I saw it, and I at the time was like, you shouldn't talk to the coach that way. Like that's just kind of how it was. So like, Gage, how much have things changed since what we thought was normal when we were in our teen years to what's normal now and not acceptable anymore?
Yeah, just thinking about it, I'm sure you thought the same way, Cass. Is if you mentioned anything like the coaches, anyone that mentioned something about the coach of not playing or maybe being treated poorly, you were immediately labeled as a bad apple and uncoachable
Because you were whining.
You weren't like, even look at what's his name from Montreal last that got traded from Tampa,
Jonathan Drouin.
Drouin. Like, remember when he wanted out? Like it just the picture that was painted was just bad seed, doesn't want to play, this and that. Like, he looked like so bad to me, like damaged goods. But who knows? I mean, maybe he was treated poorly, and he thought and he should be playing more, and had disagreements with the coach. But I think it's a lot different now. But it's going to be tough. You don't want people just making up stuff too now, right?
I think it's a pendulum. And we got to be real careful not to swing too far to the other side.
Good one, yeah.
Because it's like you look back, like the holding up against the wall, choking. Probably, maybe we thought it was okay then. Not okay. Like, there's other things that can be done. But if you swing it too far the other way, where a coach is like benches a player for a shift, and all of a sudden, it's the worst thing in the world.
I'm not getting the ice time that I think I deserve.
Yeah, so there's the like implied whining, or again with Duran, like where organizations frame or paint a picture of people that they shouldn't. But then there's real whining too, because there actually is whining, and there is being like, at times you got to pull up your bootstraps and actually deal with it.
Yeah. And
if the coach tells you, hey, you're not doing this well, you're not playing, you're not going to play, so you better pull up your bootstraps and do what they're asking you to do. Like, even from maybe a player that thinks he's a skilled player, like, what is it? The old phrase, I've heard it, I don't know, I heard it a lot because I was this type of player, like, when a crusher tries to be a rusher, he turns into an usher. Like, you hear that all the time, but there's an element of truth to it in that you have to do what the coach is telling you to do in order to play, and if you sit there and whine about it, it doesn't change the situation or what you're going to need to do. Now, abusive behavior, that's a whole nother story. Grabbing a guy by the throat, a whole nother story. To me, it's like I hear that and I think, if I were a coach, kid starts mouthing off to me, I'm like, yep, all right, you can just sit there. You're not going to play.
Yeah,
there
are other ways to handle it.
That's going to be how I handle it. Is you're going to find your butt in the seat or in the press box.
Yeah,
and then if you start whining to it, I'm going to say, well, the reasons for it are this, and this, and then you shot off your mouth and you started saying this, and this. And because of that, you are where you are. If you want to fix this, come talk to me. But, not everyone deals with it that way.
Hey, no racism on this show. Like, look at this reverse Oreo we got going here, huh? It's pretty sweet.
Walking Gage with us. Are we going to get Scott Hastings on? Okay, we're going to track down Scott Hastings right away here as well from Oddshark. We'll do our Popeyes chicken poll question in a second. Hey, how good would Colorado Edmonton be in a best of 7?
It'd be fun.
What? I know.
We could get it. I mean, we could potentially get it. Like, that would be a pretty fun Western Conference final. Do I think Edmonton's
You could get it in a wild card in a matchup too, right? Like, there's a couple of ways you can get it.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Because that first period last night was terrific.
That was. And then the hit. And then the Oilers just stopped.
It's funny how two massive hits. It's kind of building a little bit of a rivalry right now that I like to see. You know? Like,
but you think about it, both teams have elite level talent.
Yep.
Both teams have had a lot of success this year. Both teams play a similar style of game, like a lot of like offensive punch heavy. And
Cale Makar.
Cale Makar. But just I think, well, here's the thing. Sorry, I had a thought.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Do you think in a best of 7, Colorado's grittiness edges out Edmonton because they have guys that, like, I know Edmonton has Zach Kassian, you have Adam Larson, but beyond that, you don't have a lot of guys that play a heavy type of game. And Colorado's got guys that are going to stick it to you for the entirety of a series.
Like Nazem
Kadri. I would take him on my team all day.
So would I, but I can't stand him.
But when you're playing against him, because he just the looks, and even like with Kassian at the end of the game, you see like he times it perfectly. So he's like, I'm going to get my one shot in, and the linesman's coming to get in between. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Does it perfectly.
Plays his role to a team.
Oh, great. And as that player, like if I was Zach Kassian, like in that situation, I'd be so mad because I know exactly what he did. He waited to time it perfectly, gets his one shot in, linesman in. I can't do anything.
Yeah, but he gets suspended, so it'll be all right. Game
miss
4, he'll miss the next 3,
fair,
won't he?
Fair
or
point.
maybe he was just mad about
fair point.
Maybe Babcock. He'd probably have some good Babcock.
Man, jeez.
Oh,
yeah, for sure. McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, Kadri, Makar. Like, that would be a phenomenal series.
I think we got the edge in goal, though. So
like
far
Grubauer.
this year.
I like Grubauer.
I like Grubauer, but I think ours are better.
Well, Koskinen's been unbelievable so far.
You know what? I'm going to apologize to you. I am sorry for not trashing Koskinen, but I've been opposed to him and opposed to your opinions on him.
Oh.
And thus far,
are we recording?
I have been proven wrong, Gager. So you have been correct. I am sorry for being wrong. Actually, I'm not. Well, maybe I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, you can't straight up apologize anymore. You have to say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Yeah.
That's all right. That's okay. Yeah, thanks, Kaz.
Gager, you were right about something.
You're right about,
that doesn't happen too often. Right, honey?
Scott Hastings joins us from Oddshark, oddshark.com. Of course, Oddshark is our presenting sponsor of the Two Guys and a Goalie podcast. Scott, welcome back. How are you, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Gonna bring a little grit to this podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, that'll be good. I like that. That's
soft.
good. Hey, is it too late for me to bet on the Leafs now to win the Cup? Did I miss the good window?
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. How much on fire are they since the coaching change? And I forgot to mention last time when I was on that the Babcock firing and the new hire came one day almost to the year that Craig Berube took over as the Blues head coach. So, maybe there's a little something there to that.
How quickly do odds change? Like future odds? Like how quickly could we hop on somewhere right now and get the same thing we could have got a week ago, or is that ship sailed?
Oh, yeah. So, like, when you see a big move like that, especially to a potential contender like the Leafs, of course, they hope they don't play Boston in the first round because that'll be another exit as per usual. But a big team like that, when you see a coach getting fired, especially a big name like Babcock, those odds get taken down right away. And typically within the next day or the day after, there's going to be fresh odds. And typically there'll be a big overreaction because, they try to get the, I don't want to say, uneducated better, that they think that a coaching change or something, they try to hop on it quickly. So the odds may be not exactly the best time to get it. You might want to wait for the Leafs to go. They're going to go on another slide at some point in the season. Every team does. That might be your best opportunity.
So they're trying to track down the idiot bettors. I'll say we can say that. That's
Dusty, you need to apologize to those people.
Yeah. I'm sorry for making you feel this way. 100%. Okay, now I was thinking about this because we were talking about it. I don't know if it was Monday or last week, about like the teams that we think are the best teams in the National Hockey League right now. And my question would be, would betting on the Boston Bruins right now be a good return on my money? Is that like a good number right now, or should I wait until maybe they go on a little bit of a slide, like you said, if I really am a believer?
Yeah, like that's usually what I try to do. last year I got Pittsburgh. Of course, that didn't work out in my favor, but I got Pittsburgh. They were horrible late October, early November, and their odds went to almost 20-1. And I was like, with that lineup, it's worth a gamble. And it didn't pay off. But I would look for Boston to just have a little adversity. They've been rolling so well already that their odds, they're the favorite to win, and it's just not really worth it at this point for me. To the Leafs point, I hope that they go on a big roll and Boston hits a little snag at some point, and that will be a perfect opportunity to maybe see the Leafs go over top of them.
Any trends that you're looking at right now? Any bets that you like here in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. And even going right into tonight, I'm looking at Montreal. Since Paul Byron and Jonathan Drouin out of the lineup, they've lost every single game, including that first game, which was against New Jersey, who they're playing tonight, and yet they're favored. Carey Price looked exhausted and horrible in the last outing. So they're 0-5 in their last 5 games. They're favored tonight. I like the Devils in that spot, even though they're horrendous. And we know that third period has been absolutely ugly for them. But, I just don't like the Habs being favored in any game. And then how about those Stars? They've just been rolling since getting called out.
Yeah, they've been doing extremely well. I think blip on the radar. They lost this week, but hadn't they won like 7 in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, something crazy like that, yeah.
Yeah, they've been good. Definitely something worth watching there. Scott, appreciate the time, man. We'll catch up next Thursday.
Thanks for having me.
That's Scott Hastings from our presenting sponsor, oddshark.com. We've still got lots to get to here, and we've got about 10 minutes to fit it in. Let's start with the Popeyes chicken poll question, Hernan. Let's bring up the Popeyes chicken poll question. Try Popeyes legendary Louisiana chicken today. And once again, thank you for episode 19 when they dropped off that delicious ghost pepper, triple ghost pepper wings. This is an interesting question right now. And Hernan, you'll let us know what we've got for the poll question. But who will lead the NHL in goals this season? Pasternak, Ovechkin, Draisaitl, or Matthews? And no disrespect to McDavid or Marchand, but I just didn't want to go with 2 guys from the same team. So we went with Pasternak and Draisaitl. Cass, who would you throw your support behind right now? Just say Ovi, right? He's gonna figure it out in the end, isn't he?
No, I'm gonna go with Leon.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Leon. I think, and that's probably some Edmonton bias in there. But you play with Connor McDavid, you're gonna get a ton of minutes. You're playing 4 minutes in overtime. I think he gets it.
4 minutes in overtime is just so ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous.
Gager, who are you going with?
Oh, I have to go with the grade 8.
Yeah.
I want him to do it more than anything else, just because I want to see him get closer to Gretz's record.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's the coolest pick, I think. So
Hernan, what's the results at right now?
Yeah, after we're 111 votes in, Draisaitl leads at 44%, Pasternak at 37%, Ovechkin at 18%, Austin Matthews at 1%.
We got to work on our Toronto.
Well, we got the disrespect for Ovi is real. Like, come on, man, the guy's gonna get it. He leads the league in goals every single year.
Not every single year.
Well, like 85% of the years he leads the league in
every
goals.
single year.
It's pretty damn close. It's pretty close. All right, let's play Sport Clip Haircuts. Keep it or clip it. Sport Clip Haircuts, where it's good to be a guy and home of the MVP experience. They are a drop-off location for 630 Chad Santa's anonymous program as well this year. So if you're going to go down and get a haircut, take something to drop off there for Santa's anonymous. All right, we've got 8 different things to get to. Let's start with this one. The Flames can use this Peters situation as a rallying point for the rest of the group.
Clip it.
Keep it or clip it.
Like, you want to tell me that our coach is allegedly a racist and he's allegedly a jerk.
No, but he's going to be gone.
And then he gets fired because he's allegedly a racist and allegedly a jerk, and we allegedly don't have points in the standings. How does that a rallying point?
Well, new coach, right? They've been struggling.
Yeah, but
they were already thinking about firing Peters in the first
rallying
place.
point is like something that gets you fired up, that brings you together, pulls you together. A new coach doesn't necessarily do that. Like, especially if there wasn't, like, if people were kind of okay with the coach.
Do you think this impacts them one way or the other?
I mean, maybe if you get a better coach in, someone that changes something, it impacts you a little bit to the positive, but I just don't see it as being a rallying point.
Gage,
a rallying point.
No, I would clip it. You can't. It's not a point to rally.
Yeah.
around, I think it's more of an embarrassing situation. I would,
But not for the team, though, right? Not for the
yeah.
players.
Well, I would be.
You would be?
Yeah. No,
Oh, that's
just
interesting.
coach is just as much a part of the team as anyone else. You know, you're all in it together, and to have, and I'm sure a lot of the Flames had respect for Peters too. You know, there's probably a few that actually liked him, and then to learn this, it's like I would just want it to go away, and I don't want to have to hear about it anymore. I'm sure they're getting bombarded with these questions all the time. I just want to play hockey, and yeah, I couldn't rally around that.
Do you? I do like the way Trey Living's handled it so far. Like, I thought he's laid it out pretty good. Like, not rushing, like going through the process, making himself available every day. Like, I think he's handled it because this is a nightmare.
Yeah, as
And
an
he's handled
organization,
it pretty good.
I mean, you also have to remember it didn't happen when he was with the Flames, and they weren't made aware of it till.
But he's their
everyone
guy now,
learned.
right?
But he's their guy now. I have appreciated his openness with it, and the organization taking their time.
Yeah,
I think it's a good approach. And I was listening to Eric Macramella when he was on your show, Dusty, talking about it, and a lot of that makes sense.
He did lay it out nicely too. Take some time and find, if you're looking for just cause to fire him, then
right. Then you can take your time to find it, and then you're not paying his coaching salary, and even publicly, it's like, well, we took our time to actually come to a decision. So I like it.
If I'm Peters, I resign though, I think.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, but they probably, if that was the case, I bet they go under the not under the table, but like under the media eye, public eye, and say, if you resign,
we'll give you $3 million.
Your
that way they
severance.
both. Yeah, there's maybe a severance, and if you say I'm resigning and stepping away, it makes him look good because if he's just kicking around and waiting to see what happens, it looks worse and worse from my perspective, because it looks like he's just looking to get paid by the end of it, right? And so, yeah.
Okay, question number 2. Christmas lights that are just one color on the entire string are better than multiple colors.
Clip it. I like my place gaudy as possible. Just lots of lights, lots of color, just like myself.
Cass, what are you going with?
I'm gonna say clip it.
Okay.
I'm going to say clip it, but it's all situational. Like my wife she's really artsy and really, really good, like with colors and really good with decorating. So
she loves this stuff.
Yeah, she loves this stuff. And I'm going to say, like, our house on the outside is all one color and on the inside is all one color, but it all matches. But when I'm driving around the neighborhood, I like seeing ones that are multiple colors way more.
So are you saying that you don't like, you're trying to go around it here, you don't like the way your house looks?
No, it looks really good.
You're trying to
it looks
spin
really good. No, it looks really, really good. It all matches, but there's the little kid in me that's just like, even if it's like gaudy, is that the right word?
Yeah, gaudy.
Even if it's gaudy, I'm just like, bright colors, lights. Yeah.
You want to party?
Yeah.
I just want to throw a bunch of lights up on my house and let them go wherever they fall, and just bright colors. And
the bright colors. It's just, and even more so like with kids now, it's like where I drive my daughters around, they're not worried about like, oh, that matches the house. Like, they're just like colors, lights.
I'm thinking about getting one of those where you can like project a scene up onto your driveway.
I don't like those.
Why not? It looks pretty
like,
cool.
That's like you were too lazy to hang up actual lights and you just stuck something in the ground.
Cass, why do you think I'm considering it?
I know they look good though. They look good. I know. That's what I think that too. Every time I see one of those things.
I don't know about those.
Yeah,
I think they look pretty neat. All right, Oscar Clefbaum is a top pairing D-man on 85% of the teams in the league. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it. He might win the Norris. So.
No.
Yeah.
You and your bold statements. Even Hernan's chirping you from the gallery over there.
Yeah, I know. I think he is going to be up there in Norris voting.
Like this year or some other year?
This year. Yep.
Well, you know what? You were right on Koskinen, so maybe we should take your word for it.
I said this the other day. I said, could he win the Norris? You both said no. I think he can.
85% of the teams in the league. How many teams does that mean?
I don't know, dude. Like 28?
Did you actually do the math?
29? How many teams are there? 31?
Like, I need to know.
I'd say 27 and a half teams. Would he be a top 2 defenseman on?
Ooh, I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna go.
Whoa,
that's high. That's high.
So Gager's giving him the Norse, and
so,
you're not.
So let's go. Okay, so San Jose. No.
Well, no.
Well, that's a
let's
different.
Go through team by team. If we're saying we're going to say 85%,
you can't say San Jose because they got 2 Norris
that's
guys.
one of the
that's
teams.
one
Cross
of the
them off
teams.
the list.
Okay,
Cross them off the list.
so San Jose, you go. So he's gone.
So it's about, Cass, you're about right. It's about 26, 27 teams out of the 31.
So so basically,
so let's start to go through this. Okay, so San Jose. No.
San
Do we
Jose.
have time to go through this?
Well, I mean, we can quickly take a look. I'll just rattle off teams.
Vancouver? Yep.
Vancouver, possibly.
Well, Quinn Hughes is like top 5 in defense
Possibly.
scoring right now.
Jets? Yep.
Jets, yes.
Yeah, Jets, yes. Okay, Boston Bruins.
Nope.
Why not?
Well, they got Torrey Krug,
You got Krug.
who plays left side, which would be his spot anyway. I mean, if we're getting technical.
Who's Krug play with? Chara? Or does McAvoy?
They rotate, and McAvoy's a stud too.
Yeah, he's a stud as well. Maple Leafs.
Yep.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, no, he would like. They got Riley, but
See,
well, Tyson
that's where it
Barrie's
goes.
pretty
Like,
good too.
Tyson Barrie's pretty good. Where does he slot in? He's a maybe. So that's a maybe.
Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, yeah.
Like they got Weber and Petrie. Would you rather have Clefbaum than either of those two guys?
Well, what
Like,
side?
let's-
We got to
well,
look at the side again too. Like, are you going to have
he's gonna
They're
Clefbaum
both
play?
righty, so
Yeah.
he play left side there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. So basically, 85% of the teams in the league means we only have to like find 4 teams that he
teams
would.
that
Yeah.
he wouldn't.
San Jose, he wouldn't. Who else?
St. Louis, he wouldn't. St. Louis,
St.
is too
Louis,
strong
he
on the blue
wouldn't.
line.
You guys said
Capitals?
Boston already.
Capitals,
Boston?
Boston.
Capitals, he wouldn't.
And
He can make a case on a lot of these. Vegas, he probably would be for sure. I mean, their blue
Vegas, he
line's not
probably
great.
would be.
Calgary,
Dallas.
Dallas, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. That's 4.
that's a good. There you go. You got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we made it.
We'll move it on.
All
I'm gonna say,
right,
like,
the Canadians need to give Carey Price a little more rest. Keep it or clip
keep
it.
Keep it.
He does look
Keep
tired,
keep
doesn't he?
He's tired. He's come off injuries, recent seasons. Body
He's
probably
older.
beat up. He's older. Give him some rest.
He started 2024, Gager. What do you think about
Yeah,
that
no,
number?
keep it. Yeah, what was that ridiculous stat? He hasn't been pulled in like 100 and
172 games or something like that.
yeah, I
Give the guy
I was
a
pulled
break.
every second game, so that's
What was it like getting pulled?
well, it's not good. It's you know when you let in a stinker and you just watch. They look at the goalie and they'll look at the eyes, and I would always just give it a quick look to the bench.
But
quick
you're
look
not
to the
turning
bench.
your head
Yeah, and you see the other goalie like, oh, here I go again, and go putting on his stuff. And I was always really embarrassed. I see the guys that like stay in there. Yeah, I skated the bench like there was a delayed power play, so just to get out of there. Awful.
Did you
awful
ever?
feeling.
Did you ever get pissed at a coach? Like you must have got pissed at a few coaches for pulling you, right? Or you were always there. It's justified. I'm out of here.
No, I was never. I was always mad at myself. I never thought sometimes a coach would pull, and he would come up to me. I'd be mad at him, but he'd come up to me in between periods and say, "Hey, I'm just looking to fire things up here." That would make me feel a little bit better. But no, it's not a good feeling.
He wouldn't ask you to give him a list of the top 2 goalies on the team and rank them.
No, he wouldn't.
Okay, American Thanksgiving question: stuffing is the best side dish for Thanksgiving dinner. Keep it or clip it.
I'm gonna switch to the American guy here. Well, not American, but
I married one.
married him. You're basically American.
No, it's not. Clip it.
What is it? See your hesitation
No,
on
no. I was just like, how have you not thought of this already? Have you not like? And maybe this is more American than Canadian, like a unbelievably good lobster or like mac and cheese.
That's definitely American than Canadian because I think that's the stupidest idea
Stupidest idea ever.
Yeah, mac and cheese at Thanksgiving. You can have mac for cheese for lunch on a Tuesday.
No,
Like,
yeah, but you're thinking like the mac and cheese you get in a box, you dump it in a pot, and it's like powdered cheese you throw in. I'm talking like real mac and cheese.
it's still just noodles and cheese, man.
With crunchy topping on top.
I can't believe that. I'm so disappointed in you right now.
So did
See,
you know,
Gager was right. You are American.
Yeah, your American is
You
showing.
are American. Gager, what are you saying? Keeping or clipping it?
Clip it.
What's your answer then?
Gravy.
Oh, gravy is good. You know what?
big-
But is that even really a side? Because you just,
It is when you put it in a bowl.
There you go. There, yeah. Okay, fair.
My wife, she makes stuffing, and then I request stovetop stuffing to also be made. And then I eat the stovetop
So you
stuffing.
just like stuff comes from a box.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, when it comes to stuffing, for sure. All right, the Oilers and Canucks. This is going to be a great weekend, home and home. The Oilers and Canucks will combine for 15 goals in their head-to-head this weekend. So it's like 7.5 per game,
Keep it.
right?
Yeah, this is going to be. This is going to light the world on fire.
I think
Keep
it's
it.
going to be
I think it's
great.
going to be incredibly offensive in like a non-offensive, but like lots of offense, but not like they're
Not really
offending
mean.
people.
No
Not
racism
mean.
in those games.
Right. No racism, but a lot of goal scoring and lots of fun.
I feel like McDavid and Draisaitl, after not pissing a drop against the Avs,
they're
are
gonna
going to torch the Canucks.
Yeah.
And Pettersson's going to just be firing back the other way. I haven't been this excited for a home and home between the Oilers and Canucks in like 10 years.
Is it Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday night, Sunday night, 8 o'clock starts both nights, I think.
Perfect.
3.5 hours is too long for a movie. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it. Make it a TV series.
Oh, that's interesting. We're talking about The Irishman on Netflix right now. It's
But that's on there, so you can at least pause it.
Yeah,
It's
but
not like
still-
it's not like a movie where you're going into the theater. Like at least you can pause it.
But do you want to watch a movie pausing it 4 times to finish it?
Only if I got no. Yeah,
It's the same thing as like a series that does the same thing. It's like it has natural stopping points. So it's like,
But a movie doesn't.
well, you just have to like understand cinematography, Dustin.
Oh, listen to
my.
this guy. The cinematography. Your American is showing. God, that's the name of today's episode.
Yeah.
Your American is showing. Gager, keeping it or clipping it? What'd you say?
I will say clip it. I will if I had that Mandalorian,
Yeah.
all of them, I would sit there and watch every single episode. Yeah, no, it's I love the long movie.
When does that stream again, by the way?
It's Friday nights.
But they changed the dates on a couple
What?
of them in December, so it's not always Friday nights.
Okay, but it will be this because we're in November.
I think it's still this one,
Yeah,
but the
okay.
schedule's a little off. Like
I'm really
they
liking
move
that
it
show.
around
Oh my
holidays
God!
and
It's
stuff.
Yeah.
I am like I'm such a Star Wars
Me too.
fanatic.
Let's not spoil it for anyone that hasn't.
No, but it's
Because
such
I'm
a.
still,
Did you
I
not
want
I'm
watch
still
episode
catching
three?
up. I'm still catching
Oh,
up.
okay.
Oh, it's so good.
It is the way.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the saying?
Yeah, it is the way.
You'll
Yeah.
get it when you get to
You guys
episode
don't
3.
ruin it.
All
Never
right.
talk to you again.
Last one here for Sport Clips, Haircuts, Keep It or Clip It. Patrick Laine having just 7 goals this season is concerning for the Jets. Should note, he's also a point per game, which is like weird. He's got 7 goals and 16 assists, but he's a goal scorer. So where do we come out on this? Like, is he changing? Is he developing his game? Or
I'm gonna say keep it. No, clip it. He's streaky. I think he's already established he's kind of a streaky player.
What was it, 1 month? He scored like 18 goals in 1 month or something?
And last year in the playoffs, he did have like 3-4 goals after not scoring in a long time. So I think you just want this guy hitting his stride at the right time. I think who cares how much he scores in the regular season as long as you make the playoffs and then he gets hot. So
Cass?
This one's tough for me. I'm going to say keep it. I'm going to say keep it because he is a pure goal scorer. And yes, he's been a point per game, but he hasn't been putting the puck in the back of the net. And the name of his game is putting pucks in the back of the net.
So know your role and do your job.
Do your job.
why
Patrick.
doesn't he score more though?
I don't know, he's got a wicked shot.
Exactly. So here, that's why it's concerning.
I feel like he'll still score 30 no matter what anyway. Like he's
It's
only got 7
possible.
right now, but I feel like he'll get he'll get 12 in a month, and then everything's fine. We'll see what ends up happening.
Didn't
there.
he score a real fancy one the other night? I thought I heard something.
He does that quite often, actually. It's not too bad. All right, a couple of other things that I want to hit on before we wrap up here. Episode 20 of the Two Guys in a Goalie podcast. What?
20?
Yeah, it's episode 20.
Is that like
Ah, shoot.
silver or like?
Yeah, I was gonna do something for you guys.
Well, I was gonna bring in Thanksgiving stuff.
You
but I
didn't do that either.
So
Yeah.
Did you have a plan? Like, did you?
Oh,
have
I was
something-
gonna like an anniversary. I was gonna see what the 20-year one was and bring you guys 2 shitty gifts.
What was the 20-year anniversary? Hernick, can you look that up?
But are we doing modern or traditional? Because there's two separate.
There's 2 separate things.
Really?
Yeah.
There's like traditional, and then modern has like some updated stuff to it.
Oh,
We just had our 9th wedding anniversary, and there was 2 different, and I
Yeah.
ended up getting one for each of them because I'm a traditionalist, man. I'm an old school guy, right?
nice.
You gotta.
So what'd you do for the? There's like a linen. There's wood. What did you do for the wood one?
Okay, Cass. Hey, you're not gonna trick me into that one. What did I give my wife for our anniversary when the present was wood? You dirty bastard!
Oh,
Wow.
Cass.
Wow.
Gage and I have been sitting here trying to clean it up, and
Yeah.
now you're that's unbearable.
So it says traditionally 20th anniversary
Yeah.
gift is something with platinum.
Ooh. So you wouldn't have been able to get us anything.
No.
You can't afford the platinum. Like, what about 25? I think is it diamond or it's something else? No, diamond's 50, I think. Because 25 is only going to be like midway
it's
through
gold.
December.
Isn't it
It'll be
gold?
close. Ooh. Maybe we could all get a gold tooth. Just
Sweet.
a cap. That would look pretty good, actually.
Silver.
Silver.
Oh, silver.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
easy.
not as bad. But yeah, that would be nice. Nice little surprise coming then, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, quickly on this one. Victor Mete and Domi getting into it a little bit in practice for the Habs have been struggling lately.
That's normal.
No, that's what I mean.
I'm
That's
interrupt
what I
your
mean.
question. That's normal.
Is it a good thing? Like, is it something
it's just
that
normal.
It's just normal.
Mete was just tightening Domi's helmet. That's what
Maybe
he's
he
mad.
is.
Got a little tight on that.
Did you ever
on
get
it.
into it with anybody in practice, Cass? Like to the point where like the media were like, "Wow, Cass."
Oh, the media. I don't know till the
Because
media.
I'm sure a lot of shit happens when nobody's
There's
watching.
a lot
right?
of stuff
But,
that happens on the like. It's
I
going to
just
happen.
always wonder if it's like
a couple times. a
Habs
year.
are fired up now, or if it doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything because they don't have
They're-
Paul Byron and
they've been
Jonathan
losing.
Durant.
They've been losing, so the media is going to turn it into more of a story than it is inside the dressing room. It's like where there's two guys that got frustrated with one another, frustrated with the situation, and they reacted, and that was the outlet. And it's as long as they talked about it after, it's fine. Like it's not. You see it. It's going to happen a couple times a year. Like you can't tell me you put like 20 males who all get hopped up on adrenaline all the time, who typically have higher testosterone levels, that are playing a physical game, and you let them hang out every single day for like 186 days or whatever it is, plus more if you're in the playoffs, and they hang out every single day in like where they're hitting one another, and there's winning and losing involved, and it's competitive. There are going to be those moments where guys get at each other a little bit. It's going to happen.
Julian can't it's like they're losing. They're in Montreal, and he's probably doing battle drills in the corner with
Yeah.
those two. You know, like
Yeah, and that's just it,
it's
yeah.
just you got to watch what you put in the pot, right?
Okay, and how beautiful was the hit on Chase on? last night?
that was.
God, that was just old school,
Yeah.
beautiful, clean hit.
I was watching the game, and I had it pulled up on the laptop because my wife had one of like her shows on the main TV, and she paused it because I was just like, whoa, right when it happened, because it was a beautiful hit.
There was nothing bad
Beautiful.
about it. Like
No,
it's just a
it
suicide pass, and he just
Caught him clean
Yeah.
shoulder. That was
Nice.
a great hit.
you see like 5 of those a year in the National Hockey League. Like a good, clean hit at the blue line where nobody's. Well, I guess he is in concussion protocol, but that's just. I mean, it's a fast
Good
game.
hit.
He got hit by a big body. It was sweet. All right, so that's gonna do it for episode 20. Your American is showing. couple of times, Cass. It was disappointing. Thank you to Shawn Matthias for joining us today. He's got that podcast coming up. We'll keep tabs on that as well. Scott Hastings joined us from Oddshark. Of course, oddshark.com, our presenting sponsor. Visit them. And also thank you very much to Popeyes Chicken for helping us out as well. And Sport Clips Haircuts, where it's good to be a guy. For Hernan Salas and Matt Cassian and Joaquin Gage, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Thank you very much for checking out episode 30. If you download the podcast, give us a 5-star rating and leave a comment. We'd love it.